My non-negotiables for fat loss. These are not hacks, they're not gimmicks. They're the thing that's helped me sustain my fat loss for 5 years now. They are things that are drilled into my head that I always do. They are part of my life and they are my non-negotiables. Hello fam, and welcome to my channel. My name's Melissa Neal, and this channel is all about helping you, if you're a woman over 40 or like me, over 50, get in fantastic shape. I stripped fat at the age of 51. I'm now 56, and I want to share my 8 golden rules for fat loss, and importantly, how I keep it off for good. They're in no particular order because they're all just as important as each other. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is protein. And when I started my fat loss journey, until I got my protein intake right, I didn't see results with strength training, I didn't see results on improving my body composition, and I didn't see results in getting fat loss. So there's a big difference between weight loss and fat loss. Protein plays a really important part of this. And so what protein's going to do is going to help you build and retain muscle. That's what it's done with my body. It's going to make your body better and improve your fat burning potential because it takes your body longer to break down protein. I like to take my protein more than 1 gram of protein for every pound in your body weight, but that's what I recommend. Or if you weigh over 170 pounds, shoot for your goal body weight. And that's going to mean eating protein at every single meal and snack. I've got that absolutely drilled into me. That is what I always do, and it's my non-negotiable. The second thing I'm going to talk about is tracking my calories and macros. Now, I didn't always track my calories and macros. Until I did that, I didn't know exactly what I was eating. And when you get older, you need to be precise about how many calories you're eating, the balance of your protein, carbohydrates and fats, which needs to be something like 35% protein, 35% carbohydrates and 30% fat, give or take. And the only way that you're really going to know exactly what you're eating and get really good portion control and actually make a big change in your body shape is to track it. I find if I don't track it, I'm going to put on more on my plate than I would otherwise. That's a natural human instinct. We all tend to be like that. So I find tracking has completely transformed my body. I don't find it difficult. I find it easy to weigh and track my food almost every single day. The only time I don't do it is obviously when I'm eating out or when I go away on vacation. My number 3 non-negotiable is strength training. Strength training trumps any other type of exercise for women in my age group, women over 40. It doesn't matter if you're 70, it doesn't matter whether you're 80 or in your 50s or 60s, it's the same. What strength training has done for my own body and many of the women that have been through my programs is it's actually going to help your body burn fat more easily. And it doesn't matter whether you've got 10 pounds to lose, 100 pounds to lose, the strategy is still the same. You still need to be doing strength training. I like to do 4 times a week. I would recommend 3 times a week or more for most women, and that's for between 45 minutes and a maximum of an hour and 15 minutes per session. If you do much more than that, you're actually not going to get the benefit of it. Strength training is actually going to build your metabolism. So what muscle does is it helps your body burn fat even when you're just sitting around doing nothing. And if you're looking for a program where you've got your strength training covered, where you've got all your workouts covered and you've got your eating plans covered, I run my own fitness and weight loss programs for women over 40. You can go to my website and check those out. My number 4 4th golden rule, and this was a massive game changer for me, is I always eat directly before strength training and directly after. So when I was strength training on an empty stomach, I didn't see results until I switched to this protocol, and it really helped me gain a lot of muscle and also with that strip an enormous amount of body fat. Literally, I saw a change in weeks by implementing this. So it's really important to eat some kind of carbohydrate and protein combined before you do strength training, say an hour before. If you don't have the stomach for eating, then you can have something like a protein shake with a banana in it. I also eat directly after strength training. What I eat is another protein and carbohydrate meal or snack. And the reason you do that is, firstly, before strength training, you need to have the energy in your system to give you the performance in your workouts. And I make sure my workouts, I push really, really hard and I get the maximum results. And in order to do that, you need to fuel your body correctly, particularly with carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is actually going to give you the performance with your strength training workout. And then you need to replenish your muscles, replenish your glycogen stores as well once you've completed your workout. That's really important for muscle building, protein synthesis. I like to eat an hour after strength training. I wouldn't leave it much more than 2 hours. I used to actually strength train on an empty stomach and not eat for about 5 hours, and I was not seeing progress with that. So that's really important to make sure you implement that if you're using a strength training protocol. Otherwise, it's really hard to put on muscle when you're older and you're natural. So you need to really fuel your body correctly in order to see the results from that. My number 5 non-negotiable is walking. Walking has huge benefits. The problem is we are too sedentary, and it's really going to be harder to burn fat if you're just sat around all day. So you really do need to get up and move around. The easiest way for me to get that in is walking, and it's actually going to help your body burn more fat easily. I really like to count my steps. That's the best way of doing it. I find getting anywhere between 7,000 steps and over is optimum. If I can, 10,000 steps is even better. My number 6 golden rule for fat loss is sleep. Sleep is absolutely essential when you're talking about fat loss in women over 40. I'm post-menopause now, but if you're perimenopause, menopausal, sleep is just such an important part of fat loss. If you're not getting enough sleep, it can actually make you gain more body fat, and you're really going to struggle to lose body fat. You're going to get problems with your hormones. It can make your thyroid go off. It can cause insulin resistance. So you have to be really intentional about sleep. It's not going to be easy. It's actually a struggle to get sleep. I've made a video all about sleep. I'm going to link it up here so you can watch it and actually get my sleep tips. And I would say if you're not on top of your sleep, is probably the most important thing to start to implement. My number 7 non-negotiable golden rule is meal prep. Meal prep has been a massive game changer for me, not only when I was going out to work, but now that I run my own business and I'm working from home. Having your meals prepared in advance means you're much less likely to slip up, because the problem with not having your meals prepared is then you're more likely to just grab anything, and it's really hard to control your food. What I tend to do is bulk cook up some protein sources, have some veggies prepared, have my carbohydrate sources prepared, and then even if they're not in meal boxes, but they're just in the fridge ready to plate up, it's going to mean it's much easier for me to stay on track. And since I've been doing meal prep, I've noticed I've had much better success with my body. It puts me in control, and I find it really, really easy to stick to because it actually saves time in the long term. My number 8 non-negotiable is hydration. Hydration in women over 40 and around menopause, it starts to become really problematic. You tend to be more dehydrated and drier. Since about 5 years ago, when I started really being intentional about hydration, that means getting in at least 2 litres of water every day. The optimum is 3 litres. Remain hydrated because it's going to be much better for fat loss. So in other words, your body is going to get rid of fat more easily by increasing that water intake, but also what it's going to do is it's going to keep you satisfied. So it's going to help you keep full. So those were my 8 non-negotiables. Now, if you've watched any of my content before, you know that I advise high intensity interval training, but during that 5 years, I haven't always stuck to the high intensity interval training. You know, I've had times where I've had extreme fatigue and I've needed to take a rest from it. So that's why it's not in my non-negotiables. I do recommend it still for women over 40, and I'm currently doing high intensity interval training about 4 times a week for 20 minutes just after strength training. So it is something that I implement now, but it's not all the time, so that's why I didn't include it in my non-negotiable list. So let me know in the comments section if you found this video helpful. I know that I get a lot of people that are curious about exactly what I do. These are the things that I would recommend that every woman over 40 implements.